Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Monir El Azzouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we will present you a video or some videos that I wanted to present you a long time ago, but I had a lot of things to do in the meantime. So it is interviews that I have made during the Medtech Europe Forum that I have when I was going there in Barcelona. So I have made multiple interviews, and I wanted just to show that to you today, because those interviews are really, if I can say, showing a lot of information that can be really important for you to understand the situation, also to also get an introduction of some products, or to also get an introduction of some other part of the world. So let's summarize. So we have 4 interviews today that I will share with you. The first interview is with Fabien Roy from the company Hogan Lovells, which is a lawyer, so it's a lawyer, some lawyer company. And Fabien was introducing to us some of the situation that he encounters with his customers, with notified bodies also. So I think it can be a good interview to listen, just in the case you are looking for a notified body, to see also the difficulty that some customers have related to notified bodies. Then we have a second interview that I have made with Peter Oblenis, which is the CEO of Evidence Partner. So they have a software called Distiller SR. So I had met him there. He explained to me what is this software and said, okay, let's have an interview of it, because it looks really great. It's a software that can help you if you are doing clinical evaluation report, for example, to help you to, if I can say, make your life easier. I mean, for those that make a clinical evaluation reports, you know how it can be difficult to make that, gather all the data, evaluation. So this software can help you for that. So, and Peter will present that to you. The third interview is with Ronald Bouman. So I spent a lot of time with Ronald Bouman during this event. I really like this person. So we had a lot of fun looking at all the event and discussing about the situation. So at the time I made the interview with Ronald, he was part of the Emergo group, and then he moved. Now he created his own company, so Boumance Regulatory Consulting, and during that moment he was explaining to us about EUDAMED. So EUDAMED, potential use of EUDAMED in future. So we are not talking about the use now, but in future. So he was explaining to us what can maybe be EUDAMED in the next future, and this can be really interesting. I mean, if it's just assumptions, but we hope maybe this can become live for some of those elements. So I hope you will see if I can say the same thing. So if you have also some comments or some assumptions about EUDAMED, don't hesitate to put that on the comments, and then we can review that or start a discussion, if I can say, also about it. And the last interview I had is with the team of Mecomed. So Mecomed is the equivalent of Medtech Europe, but in the Middle East. So I had Rana and Ina Nadelweiss that were with me, and we discussed about what is Mecomed, if Mecomed has also this kind of Medtech Forum meeting that they are doing in the Middle East. So they are located in Dubai, and I had already made some intervention for them for the Mecomed group. So I think it could be also interesting for you if you are also planning to go to the Middle East, to understand what's the situation there with the regulations, with the compliance, with all those things. So I hope you will enjoy those interviews. So they will go one after the other, but each time at the beginning I make a small introduction also, so you will hear who is talking and what we are doing. So thank you, and talk to you at the end. Hi everybody, so I'm here with Fabien Roy, who is a lawyer at Hogan Lovells. Okay, so I just wanted to discuss with Fabien about the last year, what's happening since 1 year now, since MDR is happening. So Fabien, you are having a lot of customers in medical devices, manufacturers. So can you give us just an overview of what, if your work changed, if you had new kind of problems to solve as a lawyer for your medical device manufacturer within this last 1 year?
So first thing is, it's a very busy period for the industry and for us also as lawyer consultant, and we see really a trend in more issues, faced, by our clients, more issues, in particular during conformity assessment process.
Okay.
or to identify also notified bodies. That's a big issue. When a company wants to CE mark a product, for the EU market, they need to find a notified body. It's like a nightmare for them. Finding the notified body with the right, code, to conduct the conformity assessment, get a quote, get the agreement. Sometimes we are already at 3 months.
Okay.
Then once you have the agreement, you need to engage with your notified body, and that's where we see a lot of issues. No communication or lack of communication, lack of transparency on the process, no information about the timeline for conducting the conformity assessment. So all of that, for our clients, is very troublesome. A lot of companies must also provide information to their management, to the board, to their shareholders, and they cannot provide this level of information. Key questions, for example, when are you going to finish or complete the conformity assessment? It's a question mark. Of course, it depends on the review or is it going on, but there is no time frame. There is no set timeline. As we can see in the pharma industry, exactly. For example, 210 days, for marketing authorization application with clock stops. Okay, but we don't have this similar, rules for medical devices. So what we say to clients is you need to come 15 to 18 months, from A to Z for your conformity assessment, and make sure that you continuously engage with your notified body, have regular meetings with them, so that you can keep track on the progress, make sure they are engaged with you and give you feedback.
So in terms of, as you said, the clients, at which stage they are contacting you? So what is because as you said, I don't think they contact you to choose a notified body, or maybe, I don't know. They do contact you even for to choose a notified body, okay. And at which stage you start to have really a lot of problems with notified bodies?
So we don't have issues with all notified bodies, but with certain or for certain files, we do already, at the contractual stage, okay. No response, even if we agreed on a quote with the client. No response, at the beginning of the conformity assessment for the dates. When are you going to be audited, for quality management system, for your technical documentation? Without the dates, you cannot plan.
Yeah.
So that's where we have issues. And sometimes we expect a response, on, let's say, the first round of question on the technical documentation. We expect response by a specific date, and 2, 3, 4 weeks later, still nothing. And despite, sending emails, the client doesn't have responses. That's where we got involved, just to, let's say, relaunch, the discussion with the notified body and try to escalate a little bit, the process. I know a lot of people don't like that, but when lawyers are involved, the notified bodies, hearing claims by clients more quickly. Okay. And we are successful doing that. But you need to work with your notified body. They are your best friend, to get a CE mark on your product. But at the same time, I think they are a service provider, and we are all professionals, so we need to work together. And that's why, we try to facilitate the discussion, with the clients and notified body, and try to ensure that everyone is reasonable with timeline, with delivery, so that life can go on and device can be on the market.
Okay. So in terms of positivity, maybe, is there any positivity related between your discussion with you and the notified bodies? Is there some collaboration? Is there some trying to find some compromises, or it's like, no, the law is the law, we are following the law or doing that, and we don't compromise on anything?
Oh no, they do a lot of compromise. I think there are a lot of positive things, with notified body when they accept, meetings, when they accept to openly discuss of a specific issue on classification or on specific technical documentation question. It's always positive when they want to discuss. We had also the case where they accept, to read and communicate position paper that we have prepared together with clients to their own competent authorities, because they also acknowledge the issue. They are not the one to be blamed. They are also suffering, from the volume of work, and the tension, in the regulatory system. So there are a lot of positive aspect, in the collaboration with notified body. But of course, all depends on the person you have in front of you.
Exactly.
And some people are more open to this discussion, some others are not.
Okay. And actually, we are 1 year from MDR date of application. In few weeks, it will be IVDR. So you will have, I think, a new run of issues that will happen, I suppose, with customers that are more IVDR focused.
Yeah, and we do already for at least 2 years. We are still, racing, to prepare CE certification under the IVDD for certain manufacturers. And we are facing issues with some notified bodies, which, we are 3 weeks ahead of the deadline, and still no response, on the conformity assessment. So based on the MDR experience also we have, we wonder whether it will be possible for the notified body to issue a certificate of conformity. Here it's for a self test for COVID. So very important, for people today, and still, we are waiting for a response for more than 6 months on this file.
So new deadline, new problems that will come. So also new things that we'll see with manufacturers.
Yeah, hopefully, we always have a plan B. With every problem there is a solution or there is a plan B. And if you need a notified body today for an IVD, it means you're on the Annex 2 list, or you have a device for self-testing. And so plan B is always, to move that, in our case, from self-testing to professional use.
Exactly.
So it requires, some changes to the technical documentation, of course, but it's a possibility. So we always try to see, the positive angle. You have a problem, we will try to fix the problem, and if we don't, you will have other solutions to put in place.
Great. Thank you, Fabien.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi everyone, so I'm here with Peter Oblenis from Evidence Partners, and we'll talk about a certain tool that Peter is providing in his company, which is called Distiller. So I discussed with him, and apparently there is a lot of things that we can do with this tool, and I want just to present that to you, and maybe I hope it will be beneficial for you. So Peter, thank you to be here. So we are here at the Medtech Forum Europe in Barcelona. So can you tell us more about your company and maybe the tool that you are providing?
Sure, absolutely. So we provide a tool called Distiller SR. It's a literature review automation platform. It's used basically to conduct the literature review portion of research such as clinical evaluation reports and whatnot. And it basically manages the entire process and uses AI to accelerate the process as you go through it. And it does it in a completely regulatory compliant and auditable way. So it's used by the regulatory affairs groups, medical writing groups at different companies. We currently have 70% of the top 10 medical device companies using it today. And it's been around since 2009, so it's been around a long time. It's a subscription-based platform, and the reason people are adapting it is it does accelerate the process by, depending who you talk to, but anywhere from 50 to 90% of the time reduction in doing the literature review portion through screening, data extraction, and so on. They also use it because it dramatically reduces the errors in your data set. So when you get to your audit process, when your notified body comes in, you're not going to find problems with your data set. And as you know, finding problems in your data set is hard, trying to detect them and find them and fix them. So the tool makes that a lot simpler as well. And I guess lastly, it's used very broadly because it's very configurable. So when I say it's a literature review, everybody has a different idea of what a literature review looks like. So it has different stages, different workflow, different people are assigned to different parts of it. You can configure all that yourself. So it basically adapts to whatever needs you have.
Okay, so when we are creating a clinical evaluation report, we know that it's a lengthy process. You have to understand the scope, you have to find some keywords, you have to, as we said, put some inclusion, exclusion criteria, then select all the data, then look at them and find if it is really included or excluded. We have to, it's a lot of work. So is there on your process still some kind of human activity, or it's completely fully automated?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's the number one question we get. So if anybody tells you it can be completely automated, don't buy their product. That's probably asking for trouble. Again, it's a human-in-the-loop process. process. So let's just take it through the steps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's say you're doing a lit review. So you've got your medical librarian or whomever you have designing the search, and they're searching the databases that are relevant to your product. So it might be, well, it's usually PubMed, it's usually Embase or Web of Science, whatever it is that you're using. You still do that the same way today, but now you point those results at your project in Distiller, at your lit review, and the data will then feed directly into Distiller. Once you've got the data, you typically need to deduplicate it. So Distiller has a powerful AI-powered deduplication engine, so you can trust it. It's not going to pull out stuff accidentally, and it also doesn't rely, because it uses AI. It doesn't rely on things being structured exactly the same way, because different databases structure things differently, and that causes problems for a lot of deduplication engines. So it'll deduplicate them for you. It'll produce a duplication report, so you know what it removed. You always have an audit trail. Now you need to do your screening. So you develop your screening criteria, which is typically a form with screening questions in it, and those questions have inclusion/exclusion consequences associated with them. You develop whatever makes sense for your project, and you simply start screening. Or maybe you have two people screening each reference, depending on how you want to do it. But as you're screening the references, Distiller is observing and it's learning which references you like and which ones you don't like. And it starts putting the most useful references towards the top of the list. So you start to find more and more excluded references faster and faster, until at one point there's nothing left in the list that you really need to review because it's almost definitely going to be excluded. So by doing that, as you know, inclusion to exclusion ratios are huge, right? So you might have 1,000 references and 30 of them are relevant. So you could basically remove a lot of that screening overhead, and you also get to the ones that are important much faster, so you can start to go do your full text retrieval and whatnot. Once the references move down to the next stages, you might get to full text. So we do integrate with CCC, copyright clearance, and reprints desk, so you can order your references through them directly from the platform. If the reference is available for free through OnPaywall or through PMC, PubMed Central, it'll go get them for you automatically, so it just pulls them right into your project. And then again, you can now read the full text document, fill out whatever data extraction criteria or forms that you've created online or whomever you have doing it. And at the same time, if you have multiple reviewers reviewing the same document, Distiller will make sure that their answers are the same, so that if you have conflicts, it will flag those for you. And at the end of the day, it will produce reports that you can put right into your CER. So tabular reports of whatever it is you need. Prisma flow diagrams are automatically generated, and a bunch of other, basically just your standard reports. And if it doesn't have the report you need, you can typically configure it yourself. So.
And notified bodies can review that. If you ask any question, you can build those reports and provide that to them, and it's really audit trail. It shows everything. So.
Correct. So, I mean, one of the common questions is, did you guys review this particular reference, right? So let's say, did you review this reference by Holdman? And you can just go into the search thing, type in Holdman, boop, it shows you the references that have that author. You can click on it, you can see exactly who reviewed it, what the results are, and when it was reviewed, and basically where it went. So that's all done in basically a click.
Right.
So it makes and we've heard this from our customers, they say that the notified bodies find the review process much faster because it's so easy to find things.
And you still have the control. So as you said, it's really an assistant that is helping you, but you still have the control of the process, and it's just helping you to go faster and to be more accurate.
Right. The tool was designed to adapt to whatever protocol you use.
Okay.
It doesn't force you to use its own protocol.
Okay.
And so it's your process. You can configure it to mirror whatever it is you're currently doing. But it now manages and manages the entire process.
Right. So the tool is called Distiller SR.
Yeah, Distiller SR.
Distiller SR. So sorry, my French accent.
Okay.
Distiller SR. So please go and check that, and I hope it will be really helpful to you. So hi everyone, so I'm here with Ronald Boumans, Senior Regulatory Consultant at Emergo by UL. Ronald, we are here at the Medtech Forum in Barcelona. Yes. It's been a long time that we didn't have that on face-to-face. Before we had that online, we had that a lot of things like through Zoom. And this morning there was some kind of discussion about, we were a bit fed up of Zoom meetings. So how do you find it? Was it same as before COVID, or it's maybe less crowded, or?
But it feels a lot like old times.
Okay.
But I did a little survey among some participants, and the funny thing is everybody lost their routine.
Okay.
So people have forgotten toothbrushes, deodorant. charger cables.
I missed my flight, so it's been a long time.
So everybody is. So we still need to go back to that routine.
Exactly.
I don't think that survey will be published. It's too embarrassing. But
Exactly.
this is the high-end summary of it.
Exactly. And actually we have a lot of sessions. So we have some sessions about quality regulatory affairs, but also other things like market access, like investment, like technology, etc. We just had a session now about EUDAMED. So I just want to have maybe a summary of what we discussed on the EUDAMED session, because it was really interesting. I will not show all session, but maybe if you can have a summary. So you had also a presentation where you were talking about EUDAMED that can be used, what can be the future use of EUDAMED. We talked about manufacturers, about health authorities, about national competent authorities, etc. So can we summarize that again? So what exactly are the potential, because it's potential, it's not something that is existing, potential future use of EUDAMED?
Okay, so let me see if I get this question clear.
Yeah.
So we had a 15-minute meeting in which I started with a 5-minute summary
Exactly.
of EUDAMED, and you want to summarize that into 2 sentences.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. What you see with EUDAMED, it's a central European database, and national competent authorities have their own databases, and these databases are not talking with each other. And we're going to expect that this situation will remain for some time, for several reasons. One, EUDAMED is still not mandatory, and two, there are very good legal grounds within each member state to maintain particular data which is not in EUDAMED.
Yeah.
So that needs to be there. Now, having said that, I think what we should aim for is to create EUDAMED as a central database in Europe, one golden standard, one truth, and then if you want to have a database, additional data, just add that on top of that. So probably communicate via single registration numbers, UDIs, with EUDAMED, and the rest of the data, the additional data that you need. And having said that, once you start adding things there, still that doesn't solve the whole problem for industry. So they will have to enter for each member state a lot less data, but still they may have to enter data for, let's say, local distributors. Now the data format for local distributor data entry, preferably it should be all the same all over Europe within all these member states. So it needs to have, you need to have some communication. Now the problem is that the European Commission says, EUDAMED, that's what we need to do, the minimal viable product. The member states only have to look after their own member states. So who's going to do that? And that's something. I think we have a momentum now. There's a need. We have to EUDAMED, the current databases. The new situation is still open. So I think there's an opportunity there. We need to grab that and somehow.
I think we talked about the 6 modules that are on EUDAMED. So we have 3 modules that are actually available.
Yes.
There are still 3 modules that are remaining, so vigilance reporting, clinical investigation, and the last one, which is market surveillance.
Yes.
So do we think that this module can still be built so it can include maybe requirements from all the regions, so that at the end we don't need the national databases?
I think the character of the market surveillance module is that it is about communication between member states, between competent authorities about market surveillance. So that is highly sensitive material that should not be on the public side. At the moment you talk about national databases, some of the information about, let's say, distributors, about reimbursement.
Yeah, true.
That is something that could be in the public domain.
Yeah.
So if you would add that to this market surveillance module, that I think that would create a conflict, and that should not be there.
Yeah.
Let's keep it simple. If a competent authority wants to add something, they should be able to do that, but on their own terms and within a practical framework. So not limiting in terms of legal requirements. You cannot ask that, but if you ask this, use this format.
Exactly. So during the session, yes, we talked about the differences, which can be the reimbursement, There were also some requirements related to labeling and instruction for. So this is not on EUDAMED actually, but some member states are asking to see the labels in their own languages, etc. So this is the thing. Is this also not something that will come with EUDAMED? Do you think they will plan also that to have on EUDAMED to have also the labeling and instruction for use?
I don't know. At this moment, it's not in EUDAMED because it's not part of the minimum viable product of EUDAMED. And this MVP, minimal viable product approach, that has serious consequences for the implementation of EUDAMED.
Okay.
And the nice to haves. It's not required, but it's nice to have. That will take years before it's there.
Exactly.
And I think if member states do these extra things, like labeling, instructions for use in their own language, I think that is something that is. I understand why they do it, and we should respect that request. If they do that in a standardized way, we may see that grow into an additional module or an extension of a current module, maybe the devices module in EUDAMED.
Okay.
But that is just a bit of hope I have.
I hope. I mean, we suppose that, as you said, it's an MVP now, minimum viable products, and maybe the EU Commission will have some additional things that to do inside. But for now, nothing is disclosed there. So, would you have an advice, if I can say, regarding EUDAMED? So, in terms of using it, is it something that we should still wait, or is it something that we should go now and use it now?
I strongly recommend start using it. If you want to wait, at least start using it in the playground.
Okay.
So that's not official, but at least you get experience. You can build routine. You can test your systems and see if it all works. And also by doing it, you provide the authorities with data about devices, so that they can test their systems.
Okay.
So if there is in the playground only 2 devices available, that's not enough to set up a real test for whatever system they have.
Okay.
And because one of the challenges is that if EUDAMED is fully functional, there will be probably millions of different devices there with a lot of data concerning them, and who's going to look at that? Who's going to supervise all that data and going to search for inconsistencies? It's just too big, too complex to let that be done by a person. So we need to start building systems to do that as well.
The Medtech Forum sessions are about to start. Please proceed to the meeting room.
Okay, so so what we are saying is let's use it also to help the EU Commission regarding that, I suppose.
Yes.
Right.
To help the authorities, I mean, EUDAMED is
The Medtech Forum sessions are about to start. Please proceed to the meeting room.
Okay.
So EUDAMED is there. It's not going to go away. It is the future, and work with it and make the best of it. I think from that perspective, I mean, every company has to solve this problem.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like when you're being chased by a bear, right? You cannot outrun the bear, but you cannot outrun your mates. So if you do make a decent attempt, you may outrun that EUDAMED bear and be safe.
Oh, exactly. So thank you, Ronald. I think it was really a great session, and if you were not here, I will try to show you also what's happening in the next session. So thank you. Welcome everyone. So I'm with Inanna Delves and Rana from Mecomed, and today I just wanted to introduce them and also to explain to you what is Mecomed. I mean, they will explain to you what is Mecomed exactly. So Rana, so thank you for being here. We are here at the Medtech Forum in Barcelona. So first, can you maybe introduce Mecomed and tell us exactly what it is?
Sure, thank you very much, Monir. So Mecomed is the Middle East and Africa Medical Device Trade Association. It's a non-profit organization and the sister organization of Medtech Europe. and EUDAMED and other associations around the world. We are also part of the GMTA, which is a Global Medical Technology Alliance. And we're here in Barcelona to finally see the industry and some regulators face to face, which is a great opportunity after 3 long years. We finally met in person. Great experience and happy to be here in Barcelona. So Mecomed is covering the geographical region of Middle East and Africa, as I have mentioned, with exception of Turkey and South Africa. Yeah. And we are based in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. At this stage. So what we are looking at is basically at shaping the regulations in the medical device space. And Rana will talk to you a little bit more about the challenges that the industry is facing and the opportunities that the industry is having in this regard in our region. But we also look at conducting the business in an ethical manner. Okay. And our ultimate goal is to make the most innovative and the safest technologies available to the patients of our region. So in terms of the way of how we operate, we have different committees similar to the Medtech Europe. So we have the Regulatory Affairs Committee represented here by and led by Rana. We also have a Compliance Committee, Compliance and Ethics Committee. We have the Market Access Committee that looks at the issues of the reimbursement and market access. We also have a newly created Digital Health Committee. You can see that most of the discussions here in Barcelona are happening around the data privacy, around digital health, and this is the way to go forward for the industry. And we also look into some legal issues, some employment issues, and other issues that pertaining to the industry.
Great.
Thank you. So I'll pass it over to Rana if you would like to add.
So Rana, challenges. So we hear about that. So do we have the same challenges that we have in Europe and in the Middle East, or it's really completely different challenges?
Effectively, the Middle East is really a very dynamic region, as you know pretty well, Monir. So we have really a very diverse region. We have always a new regulation coming from different countries across this region. We have even changes in regulations. So our key role as Mecomed and as the Regulatory Affairs Committee at Mecomed is that to communicate the message, to raise awareness, the importance of alignment with international standards, international best practice. So to adopt the reliance model, to try to avoid as much as possible the deviations, to leverage the international benchmarks, whether the IMDRF documents, whether the WHO reliance models. So it's very important to move into this direction because we know eventually now with the MDR and the IVDR, it has an impact on the region because many of these countries rely on the EU jurisdiction. So it's very important that we raise this message along and we engage with a lot of capacity building initiatives, whether within our own members or even with the regulators across the region to make sure we provide this international expertise that our members and even external subject matter experts are able to provide for these international topics.
Great. Yeah. So we are here at the Medtech Europe. Do you have the same kind of forum like what we have here at the Medtech Forum in Barcelona?
Yes.
You have that also in Middle East?
Yes, we used to have the Middle East and Africa, eventually Medtech Forum. During COVID, we had, as everyone else, to put this on hold, but we're looking forward to launch it back again soon. So, and we'll keep you updated for sure.
Great, thank you for that. Okay, so it was Mecomed, so thank you, and I hope we can see this forum maybe next year, I don't know.
Looking forward to see you in the region soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you in Dubai.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so I hope the interviews, you like the interviews. I think it was really informative for you. Don't hesitate to put comments if you have some comments or if you have any other topics that you want me to cover, because mainly there are a lot of things that we can cover. So let me know, and don't hesitate also to put some likes or some just some good messages, just to say that you liked what you are seeing. It can help me, it can help also the channel to grow. So don't hesitate to do that. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate, send me a message at info@easymedicaldevice.com. info@easymedicaldevice.com. Okay, so thank you very much and I wish you a nice day.